Second.
We'll take these one at a time. I make a motion to approve item S1, which is the approval of the second reading of proposed district policies. These will become policy, assuming
Second.
positive votes. Seconded by Mr. McCarthy.
Second reading.
Any discussion on the second reading, and just for whatever posterity's sake for the reading of policies 3420, 6550, and 8440? Being no discussion, all those in favor? Chance with a late ad makes it unanimous. That is approved. Item F2, I'll make a motion that we approve the revisions to the 2018-19 district instructional calendar. Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. McCarthy, and I'll open it up to public vote. Can you just kind of recap the changes to the calendar?
Yeah, when we had a snow day and we had to cancel the parent conferences on December 7th, we shifted that. That's where the change is, just on that day. In the future, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having a snow date. So teachers and community members would be able to, parents would be able to know that if on that situation, keep that other day free as well.
All right. Any discussion on that?
And all of our teachers are aware of the change in the calendar?
Correct.
Just
There's Lindell sitting right there nodding yes.
Maybe the phone calls already 3 times, so please don't make me make them again.
3 more to make sure they're done.
We're just going to start 5 minutes. All those in favor? Changes are approved. Okay. Sit back and relax, folks. I got to read this one. It's a resolution. Resolution of the Board of Education of the Central Square Central School District. Whereas the Board of Education, the Board of the Central Square School District, the district, determined at a public board meeting held on March 13, 2017, that a parcel of district-owned property located at 642 South Main Street in the village of Central Square, County of Oswego, and State of New York, hereinafter referred to as the property, was no longer needed by the district, and it was in the district's interest to sell the property. And whereas the board has proceeded with steps to market and sell the property, and whereas the board has received an offer from Brooks Edge Properties LLC to purchase the property for an amount of $52,500 in accordance with a contract of purchase dated November 19, 2018, the purchase contract, and whereas the sale of the property, the sale is an action that is subject to the provisions of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act as set forth in Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law and the implementing regulations set forth at 6 NYCRR Part 617, the regulations. And whereas the board desires to comply with SECRA and that regulations with respect to the sale, and whereas the board has considered the sale in light of the Type 1 actions listed in Section 617.4 of the regulations, and in light of the Type 2 actions listed in Section 617.5 of the regulations, and whereas the board has prepared an environmental assessment form for the sale utilizing the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation's Environmental Resource Mapper, and whereas pursuant to SECRA and the regulations, the board has considered the potential environmental impacts associated with the sale by A, using the criteria specified in Section 617.7 of the regulations, and B, examining the EAF for the sale together with other available supporting information to identify the relevant areas of environmental concern, and C, thoroughly analyzing the identified areas of relevant environmental concern. And now, therefore, be it resolved that, based upon examination of the EAF and based upon the board's knowledge and such further review as it has deemed appropriate of the potential environmental impacts, the board makes the following findings and determinations with respect to the sale. Halfway there. The board is the only involved agency for the sale, as the quoted term is defined in the regulations, and the board declares itself lead agency for this SECRA review. The sale is classified as an unlisted action under SECRA, and as the quoted term is defined in the regulations. The board has compared the impacts that may reasonably be expected to result from the sale to the criteria for determining significance identified in 617.7C, subsection 1 of the regulations. Based upon that review and for the reasons set forth in the attached EAF and the supporting written elaboration, the board finds that no potential environmental impacts associated with the sale are identified in the EAF and none are known to the board. Accordingly, the board determines that the sale will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts, and the board will not require the preparation of an environmental impact statement with respect to the sale. The board hereby approves and adopts the attached EAF Parts 1, 2, and 3 with the supporting written elaboration, directs the superintendent to execute the EAF, and issues a negative declaration for the sale. 2, the board hereby authorizes district staff and personnel to take any steps necessary to carry out this resolution. 3, the board hereby directs that all SECRA documents and notices, including but not limited to the EAF, the supporting written elaboration, and this resolution issuing a negative declaration, must be maintained in files that are readily accessible to the public and made available on request, subject only to the limitations established by the Freedom of Information Law. 4, the district will comply with the requirements of the New York State Education Department. 5, the board hereby determines after due diligence to obtain the best price possible for the property on behalf of the district taxpayers that the best offer was received from Brooks Edge Properties LLC. And 6, the board hereby accepts the offer submitted by Brooks Edge LLC in the amount of $52,500 for the purchase of the property in accordance with the purchase contract, and directs the board president to sign and thereby execute the purchase contract on behalf of the board and the district. That is the resolution. Can I get a motion to accept?
I thought we were talking about snow days.
I'll second.
No, can I get a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Mr. Patrick, the motion.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Bedworth. Any discussion?
Vin's asking if you could read that again.
Yes.
Only after she does the phone calls.
I'm a modern day Shakespeare. Any discussion? All those in favor? Raise your hand. We don't have to roll call this, right? It's unanimous.
Boom.
Hand it on over, even though we're going to redo it.
Ching.
Sorry, Pearl. Whew. Yeah, no kidding. Hold on. Water break. Painful. Painful for you guys.
Pause for identification.
I know we're not supposed to go back on items, but I'm gonna see if I can. No, all kidding aside.
Okay.
Should we just hit the bottom of the, this is not facetious, at the bottom of the calendar, just put Board of Ed had approved down the bottom today's date?
Yes, there's an excellent point.
Yeah.
It will, it automatically will tomorrow.
Perfect, thank you.
But we know of anything that happens to Pearl. We know who our pro temp clerk or whatever is. We got him now. Wait, who is it? Christie right now.
But you bring up a good point. So just in case, if anyone asks the board, if you have teachers or TAs or any staff members that say, why are we making the April 22nd the date? Why can't we make it in December or, at the beginning of March 18? That's because when we're building this out, we have to plan that it's not just, the only factor is not just that what's best and convenient for like vacations. It's, will it snow enough after that date that we could still possibly need to be able to have a day? So what I can say is, and I had a meeting with Lynn Dollar, that if we go into March and we've already used 6, then we can absolutely, for this year, it will work. We can use that March 18 day to be able to have that as an in-session day, where people are less likely, obviously, to have vacations and teachers to plan than the April date. We won't have that ability next year, but that's a little cushion that we'll be able to have.
All right. You good with that?
Yes, thank you.
With that, I will make a motion that we accept item G in its entirety. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Mr. McCarthy, any discussion? Being none, all those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. All right, can I get a motion to accept item H in its entirety?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. McCarthy, any discussion?
I thought you said
Andy,
can.
yeah, you said, can I get a motion? Okay.
I'll
I just wanted to
second.
make sure we
Oh,
had a motion.
Thanks for.
Tim's not listening. I'm going to question the
Motion by
seconds.
Mr. McCarthy, second by
Chance.
Mrs. Nickerson. Open it up for discussion. Being none, all those in favor? With that, I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Boyd, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you.